The genesis of gaslighting, the attack on perception. Gaslighting isn't just any ordinary lie. It is what we call identity erasure. Imagine your mind is a house, and the manipulator begins moving the furniture while you sleep, swearing by all that is sacred that it has always been there. Dr. Stephanie Sarkis defines this as an insidious technique of psychological control. The goal isn't merely to win an argument, but to make you lose trust in your own senses so that the manipulator becomes your only source of truth. It all starts almost imperceptibly through what we call subtle manipulations. It might be something trivial, like who left the window open, or who forgot to turn off the light. You are certain you turned it off. But they claim otherwise with such conviction and sometimes with a hint of concern for your memory that you begin to wonder, am I actually becoming forgetful? It is vital to understand that gaslighting differs from a common mistake by its intent and repetition. While in a healthy relationship, people take responsibility for their flaws, in gaslighting, the blame is always redirected to you as proof that you are confused. Over time, these small seeds of doubt grow into giant trees. The manipulator begins to lie brazenly about serious facts. If you confront them about rude behavior, the response is cold. I never ignored you. In fact, they claim you were being so antisocial that they had to compensate so you wouldn't be embarrassed. Observe what happens here. They not only deny what they did, but they also project the shame of their own flaws onto you. This is the moment of cognitive hijacking. You enter the conversation with real pain and leave it apologizing for something you didn't do. That hollow feeling in your chest, that sensation that the floor is being sawed out from under your feet, is the sign that your foundation of reality has been ruptured. You stop trusting your own eyes to see through the eyes of the person hurting you. Gaslighting thrives in the dark. By naming this process, you begin to light the flashlight that will guide you back to your own sanity. The isolation technique, circling the target. Isolation doesn't happen overnight. It is a web woven with patience, silence, and invisible pressure. In the context of covert narcissism and gaslighting, circling the target means cutting, one by one, the threads that connect you to the real world, so that the only voice left in your head is the manipulator's. As Stephanie Sarkis points out in her work, the gaslighter needs to be your sole point of reference. If you have no one around to confront their lies with reality, their version becomes your absolute truth. This tactic usually begins disguised as love, protection, and a false sense of exclusivity. The narcissist utilizes what we call distorted care. They begin to plant seeds of doubt about the people you love most. They will say things like, "Have you noticed how your mother always puts you down when you're happy? I'm the only one who truly values you." Or, "Your friends don't understand our deep connection. They are jealous of what we have." The goal here is to create a us against the world scenario. You begin to distance yourself from people, not because they explicitly forbade you, but because they subtly convinced you that others are harmful to your well-being, or that they are envious. Physical isolation is invariably accompanied by emotional isolation. The manipulator monitors your interactions, criticizes your outings, and makes scenes or uses the punitive silent treatment whenever you insist on connecting with the outside world. To avoid conflict and emotional exhaustion, you begin to police yourself. You stop going to coffee with friends, avoid interacting with people, and close yourself in a bubble of self-preservation that, ironically, leaves you more exposed. Without realizing it, you are walking into the emotional trap they meticulously built. The real danger of isolation is that it eliminates your reality check. When you are isolated, there is no external voice to tell you, "Hey, what happened yesterday wasn't normal. It was harmful." Without this feedback, gaslighting reaches its maximum level of effectiveness. You become dependent on their approval to validate your own thoughts. Isolation is the phase where the narcissist prepares the ground for total devaluation, as a person without allies is easier to control. Remember, someone who truly loves you expands your world. Someone who wants to dominate you shrinks it until there is only room for them. The inverted mirror DARVO, triangulation, and flying monkeys. The narcissist is a master of emotional redirection. They transform your justified concerns into an unreasonable attack against them. To make this inversion unquestionable, they use triangulation, a tactic involving a third-person real or imaginary, to validate their version and destabilize yours. This creates a psychological environment where you feel outnumbered and isolated. The backbone of this process is the DARVO method. Deny. They dismiss the facts that never happened. You're overthinking. Attack. They target your credibility. Even those close to us think you're being difficult. Reverse victim and offender. They claim the moral high ground. I am the one being mistreated by someone who only focuses on my flaws. In this phase, triangulation operates through specific patterns, the opinions of others. They act as a false confidant, claiming someone criticized your character. This projects insecurity onto you, making you doubt how the world perceives you. Relationship tension. They introduce external interests or imaginary flirtations. This creates a sense of competition, forcing you to constantly seek their approval. Flying monkeys. They recruit third parties to do their bidding. These individuals, often empathetic and misled by the narrative, become unwitting tools for surveillance and social pressure. Ultimately, the goal is total control through isolation. By creating mistrust within your social circle, they prevent you from seeking support. They often prevail because they lack the moral constraints of empathy. They fully believe their own narrative the moment they speak it. You stop fighting for the truth and start fighting for your own peace of mind. Triangulation as a reinforcement of gaslighting. Triangulation is one of the most strategic and effective maneuvers in a manipulator's toolkit. When they realize your individual resistance remains strong and they cannot convince you alone that your perception is flawed, they bring in reinforcements. The goal is to create a sense of being surrounded. You aren't just in conflict with them, but with an invisible legion of people who supposedly agree with their version of events. A practical example. They approach you with a tone of false concern and say, "Even your mother mentioned to me," in confidence, that she's very worried about your unstable behavior lately. Or, they use your social circle as a weapon. "My friends think you are an extremely difficult person. They often ask me how I managed to stay so patient with you." In most cases, these conversations never took place. The manipulator fabricates witnesses to validate their narrative. Hearing that people you love or respect supposedly think poorly of you breaks your psychological defenses. You enter a state of isolation by association. The implicit message is devastating. It suggests the entire world sees you as the problem, while the narcissist is the only one patient enough to tolerate you. This tactic serves two specific purposes. First, it discourages you from seeking external support. If you believe your family or friends see you as unstable, you may feel too ashamed to reach out to them, fearing you'll only confirm what the manipulator claimed they think. Second, it creates an even greater dependency on the abuser. You begin to see them as your only ally, only one who accepts you despite your imaginary flaws. Triangulation is, in reality, a structured narrative designed to ensure you have no support system outside the relationship. It uses the perceived authority of others to validate a false version of your reality. When you stop believing in yourself and start believing that the world rejects you, the manipulator gains total control over your life story. Massive projection, the narcissist as an inverted mirror. Massive projection in the context of narcissism is an extreme defense mechanism where the individual transfers their own flaws, insecurities, and unacceptable behaviors onto you. Their fragile self-image cannot admit these traits, so they apply the ultimate motto, "It's not me, it's you." At this stage, gaslighting acts as an inverted mirror. What they accuse you of doing is almost always an unconscious confession of what they themselves are doing or planning to do. A practical example: imagine a person who spends the day engaging in inappropriate boundaries at work or on social apps. Upon returning home, instead of feeling accountability, they react with intense inquisitorial behavior. They might demand to see your phone and shout, "I know you're being dishonest. You are the one who can't be trusted," while you spend hours exhausted, trying to prove your innocence, showing messages and trying to de-escalate the situation. The other person experiences immediate psychological relief. Experts explain that by projecting their own defects onto you, they rid themselves of their emotional burden and regain a sense of superiority. By the end of the night, while you are drained by the injustice of the accusation, they may appear perfectly calm, feeling morally superior. This tactic has clear goals: control and the redirection of blame. By putting you on the defensive, they ensure you lack the energy to investigate or question their own actions. Massive projection intensifies during the devaluation phase, where all the negativity of the relationship is attributed to the partner. If they are deceptive, they will call you a liar. If they feel intense envy of your success, they will say you are the envious one. If they are controlling, they will say you are the one who is suffocating them. How to identify and respond to this? The first step is to understand that these irrational accusations are not about you, but about their internal world. In clinical psychology, it is noted that the narcissist often sees others not as separate individuals, but as extensions of themselves where they can deposit their psychological discomfort. The best response is disengagement. Do not try to defend yourself against a narrative that they already know is untrue. Recognizing that their projection is actually a confession is the key to reclaiming your sanity. The attack on self-esteem and labeling. In this phase of the process, gaslighting stops attacking isolated facts and begins to focus on building a new identity for you, an identity based on flaws and imbalances. Labeling is a strategy of moral erosion where the manipulator uses terms like unstable, overly emotional, or the classic and dangerous phrase, "You're just too sensitive." These labels are not just insults. They are control tools designed to invalidate your reactions before they even happen. A practical example: every time you express a legitimate emotion such as sadness for being ignored on an important date or frustration over a discovered deception, the individual does not address the cause of your pain. Instead, they address your reaction. They say, "Here you go again with the drama." You're so reactive that it's impossible to have an adult conversation without you losing it. By focusing on your tone of voice or your tears, they shift the focus away from their own accountability and put you on trial. Over time, the effect is devastating. You begin to police yourself. You start filtering every word, every gesture, and every sigh, fearing you might confirm the label they've imposed on you. You begin to ask yourself, am I actually being dramatic? Am I really too sensitive? The result is self-silencing. You choose to swallow the pain and disrespect in absolute silence rather than risk hearing, once again, that you are difficult. This silencing is the ultimate goal. A partner who remains quiet for fear of being labeled is a partner who can be easily managed. Your self-esteem is eroded until you feel like a burden, believing the other person is a saint for putting up with someone as complicated as you. Labeling strips away your perspective and turns you into a convenient excuse for the manipulator. Recovering from this stage requires understanding that your sensitivity is actually your moral compass reacting to something wrong, and that being called unstable is simply the name an abuser gives to someone who is starting to see the truth. The Hoovering cycle and the illusion of change. When tactics of isolation and labeling fail, and you finally threaten to leave or establish a firm boundary, the manipulator abruptly shifts their approach. They abandon the aggressive facade and adopt the posture of the redeemed victim. This phenomenon is known as hoovering, a technique designed to pull the individual back into the cycle of control through empty promises and dramatic displays of affection. Experts define this phase as one of the most dangerous because it targets your empathy and your hope. A practical example: the person who previously called you unstable may now react with intense emotion, perhaps even pleading on their knees, saying, "I see it all now. I was wrong. I was blind, but I've changed. I'll start therapy tomorrow. Please, don't walk away from our future because of my past mistakes." In this stage, gaslighting takes a sophisticated form. It shifts the responsibility for the relationship's survival onto you. The implicit message is, if you leave me now, just when I've finally seen the light, the responsibility for ending this connection is entirely yours. They transform your attempt at self-preservation into an act of intolerance. It is a psychological trap designed to make you feel like the antagonist for not granting a 20th chance. This sudden change is merely a strategic adjustment. Their core behavior hasn't shifted. They have simply changed their methods to regain the attention and control they were losing. They engage in what specialists call future faking, making grand promises about a wonderful future to ensure you remain in a difficult present. Once you concede in return, the cycle typically repeats, often with greater intensity. They now possess crucial information. They know exactly how much time and what kind of performance is required to break your resolve. The truce is short-lived, and the subsequent devaluation is often harsher because they feel resentful for having to act submissively to bring you back. Understanding hoovering means realizing that their distress is not rooted in regret for the pain they caused you, but in desperation over the control they are losing. Psychological consequences, emotional trauma, and mental fog. Living under the constant weight of gaslighting leads to a state that experts call gaslighting fog. This is not merely a period of confusion. It is a profound psychological state where your nervous system remains in a permanent state of high alert. Over time, this chronic stress evolves into what is known as complex emotional trauma, which is why recognizing the signs and seeking professional support is so vital. Your brain's natural ability to process reality becomes compromised because it is constantly trying to reconcile two opposing truths: the reality you see with your own eyes and the false reality imposed by the person you love. Practical examples: the erosion of decision-making. Imagine being at a grocery store or a simple cafe. You find yourself paralyzed for 20 minutes. Unable to choose a simple flavor of ice cream or a brand of coffee. This isn't about the product. It's about a deep-seated fear that your choice will be wrong or will somehow trigger a criticism you aren't prepared to handle. At times, you may even feel afraid to express your opinion because you no longer know what might be considered right or wrong. When someone spends months or years having their preferences or opinions mocked or used against them, the brain loses the confidence to make even the most trivial decisions. Every small choice feels like a high-stakes move in a dangerous game. This state is often described as walking on eggshells. You feel extreme fatigue and live in a constant state of alertness, not from physical labor, but from the mental exhaustion of monitoring another person's moods to ensure your own safety. Your brain is stuck in a fight, flight, or freeze response. You may find yourself losing your keys, forgetting appointments, or struggling to focus on work, often feeling incapable. This is mental fog, a range of cognitive symptoms including a lack of mental clarity, frequent forgetfulness, and difficulty concentrating. Your reasoning becomes slow and confused. Your cognitive resources are so depleted by the effort of surviving the manipulation that there is nothing left for your daily life. You may no longer even recognize yourself, feeling as though you are losing your abilities and living in a state of constant exhaustion. The most painful part of this stage is cognitive dissonance. This is the internal conflict where you logically recognize that the relationship is harmful, yet your brain still craves the manipulator's validation to feel secure. It is a psychological paradox. The source of your pain has been carefully positioned as the only source of your comfort. You might find yourself defending the person to your friends, even while you are crying in private over their latest deceptions. At this point, many people feel they are truly losing their way. However, it is vital to understand that your symptoms, the anxiety, the memory lapses, and the indecision are not signs of a personal defect or that something is wrong with you. They are normal, predictable reactions to a highly irregular and harmful environment. Your brain is trying to protect you by numbing your senses. Recognizing this fog is the first step toward clearing it. You are not losing your mind. You are reacting to a narrative that was designed to make you doubt him. The important thing is that you recognize this. Recognition alone provides you with the strength and the means to create your own strategies and escape yet another trap. The unmasking and the strategic exit. The final stage of breaking free from a gaslighter requires what experts call emotional maturity, combined with tactical preparation, and do not worry, you are capable of developing this. You now understand how the dynamic works, the traps being set, and the patterns that are followed. Leaving this type of environment is unlike any ordinary breakup. It is a profound process of reclaiming your autonomy while navigating a highly sensitive situation. One of the most vital rules for your peace of mind is this: you cannot announce your departure. You must prepare and execute your exit in silence, ensuring your plans remain unnoticed. For a manipulator, a warning is merely an invitation to escalate their tactics, initiate a new cycle of false promises, or increase psychological pressure to prevent you from leaving. Let them believe everything is continuing as usual. Practical example: the silent gathering of reality while the individual continues to try and distort your reality. You begin to collect evidence not for a courtroom, but for the courtroom of your own mind. You discreetly save screenshots, keep a private journal of events, and preserve records that anchor you to the truth. However, the most powerful tool in your arsenal is the decision to stop arguing. Conflict is the fuel that keeps the cycle of manipulation alive. Every time you try to defend yourself or prove your point, you hand over your emotional energy. When you stop trying to convince them of the truth, you begin to recover your strength. This is the moment of the internal unmasking. You must realize that the unmasking isn't for the manipulator. They will likely never admit to their actions or validate your experience. Instead, the unmasking is for you. It is the private and sacred moment when you say to yourself, "I know what I saw, I know what I heard, and I no longer need your permission to know that my reality is real." During this preparation phase, many find success using the gray rock method. This involves becoming as uninteresting and unresponsive as a plain gray rock. You provide short, non-committal answers and withhold your emotional reactions. By becoming boring to the manipulator, you decrease your value as a source of emotional supply, which often creates the window of opportunity needed for a quiet exit. A strategic exit also means preparing your logistics, securing your documents, your passwords, organizing your finances, and identifying a safe support network that cannot be influenced. You are not being sneaky. You are practicing self-preservation to ensure your freedom. When the day comes to walk away, you do so knowing that you are not just leaving a person, but you are exiting a distorted version of yourself. You are stepping back into the light of your own sanity. The exit is the ultimate act of self-love, a firm, quiet boundary that says your life is finally your own again. Recognition provides you with the strength to create your own strategies and escape any further attempt to make you stay. Remember, there will be no change. They are living out a pattern. Now that you have turned on the light, his power has begun to evaporate. The ground beneath your feet didn't disappear. It was simply covered by a fog of deceptions. Now, that fog will clear, and you will regain your self-confidence and get your life back.